Welcome to the Inspiring Marriages Podcast. I am Jeff.
And I'm Teresa Fields.
And we've been married for over 32 years. We have 3 grown children, a wonderful son-in-law, a great, precious granddaughter. And our desire is to share our story to encourage you and to inspire you to build your friendship. Building your friendship to build your marriage.
That's right.
And you can connect with us on our website, inspiringmarriages.net. And if you go there and if you sign up for our newsletter, we're going to send you this PDF. And this, right now we have some friendship builders on here. And you can look at these and you can talk about it. And you can say, oh yeah, we want to do this. And you check those off, things that you want to incorporate into your marriage.
That's right. Yeah, I thought about it today. If someone just downloads it on their phone, they can take it with them on their date or wherever they go together. And you've got that ready reference right there.
Ready reference right there. And you probably will improve upon it and have your own ideas. The places are right at the bottom or on the back where you can just include your own marriage builders.
That's right. And we'll come back to that a little later and share a new one this week.
We will share a new one this week. That's right. So last week we talked about a friend that sticks closer to than a brother. And today we want to talk about why we need friendship in marriage.
Yes. So important.
It is so important because as you build your friendship, you will deepen and enrich your marriage, and all areas of your marriage will be improved, including your communication, your romance, your companionship. It will just be enriched and blessed. It really will.
That's right. That's right. So the scripture that I was having come to mind just the other day when we thought about recording this episode was Proverbs 17:17. In the Amplified Classic, it says, "A friend loves at all times and is born, as is a brother, for adversity." You know, friends don't just decide one day not to like or not to love a person that they call another friend. They don't just decide, well, I don't want to be your friend anymore. I mean, maybe you did that in kindergarten because somebody upset you, but you can't do that as adults, and especially not in marriage.
Right, that's just a great verse, and it's a little unusual verse. As if you look at the King James, it's a little difficult. A friend loves at all time, and that friend is like a brother, a companion, a fellow, a husband, a lover, a neighbor, and the love. A friend loves at all times. It's like human love we have for another. It includes family love. It includes sexual love. But then the other part about a brother is born for adversity. What it is, a person who's born a brother, born family, helps you through adversity. It's not that they come for adversity.
Right. Exactly.
Your friendship, your friends help you through adversity. And that's certainly true in a marriage relationship, isn't it, Teresa?
Very true.
So talk about that some more.
Well, the reason I looked it up, the meaning of friend in Webster's 1828 dictionary. This is like my go-to to find out what more of a Bible-based idea of what a word means. He says the noun friend means one who is attached to another by affection, one who has for another sentiments of esteem, respect, and affection, which lead him to desire the other person's company and to seek to promote the other person's happiness and prosperity. That sounds a lot like marriage to me. That sounds a lot like true friendship where you're not just, well, I'm just going to think of myself and, the other person will be okay. We're seeking to help the other person to be built up. That's the way you've always been towards me. You always want to support me and encourage me.
Correct. And I remember years ago, the Lord instructed me to provide an atmosphere for Teresa for her to blossom. her talents to be developed, for ways for give her room and ways and means to
develop,
grow the talents, right?
Right.
It is so important that I think Jimmy Evans talks about this a lot, that the husband provides like a greenhouse for his wife, a place that she can just blossom and grow.
Yes.
And the wife is, one of her roles to her husband is a cheerleader. So there are different roles. Men and women are different. They're wired differently.
That's right.
And even, not all men are wired the same. Not all women are wired the same. We all have strengths and weaknesses. We're all different. But if Teresa doesn't win, I don't win.
Right.
So it's not a contest. We are joined at the side, right?
Right. That's right.
It reminds me of Genesis 2:24, one of our foundation scriptures for inspiring marriages. This is why a man leaves his father and mother and bonds, or the King James says cleaves. That's adhere. That is to stick with his wife, and they become one flesh. So
That's
that
right.
means that is one flesh on so many different levels. It's one flesh emotionally, it's one flesh physically, it is one flesh spiritually.
Yes,
especially
spiritually.
right?
Yes.
So is the cleaving or the adhering that is important in marriage. And this is just not the sexual union or the sexual act, that's the one flesh part, but it's all areas of life.
Yes.
And one of the major needs of a wife is open and honest communication.
That's right.
And Teresa needs that from me, and I would be very selfish and wrong of me to withhold that from her. That is something that she needs. Friendship. And that's another, and it's really not talked about a lot, but one of the major needs of a husband that Jimmy Evans talks about, other people talk, Edwin Lewis Cole, is friendship, companionship.
Right.
A man needs companionship. A husband needs companionship from his wife.
That's right.
And it's just not. I think it's one of the reasons I don't enjoy traveling for work. I just don't like to be away from Teresa.
Right.
Because I just enjoy her company so much, and enjoy talking to her and sharing my day with her. One of the things last week we talked about our friendship builders was spending 30 minutes of uninterrupted time talking to each other. And it could be about anything, just some kind of connection. Yes. Every day, and then maybe you weren't able to do it every day, but try it.
Right.
Have a goal.
Something to work towards.
Work towards a goal. Like, this week we're going to talk 30 minutes uninterrupted, and share from our hearts to each other. Right.
Oh yes, that's so good. That's so good. I really like the definition of friendship that I found also from Webster. He says it's an attachment to a person proceeding from intimate acquaintance.
Wow.
Friend is not someone you're just casually acquainted with. This is someone that knows you and you know them. You're attached to them. Just like you were talking about the cleaving. I mean, the marriage is like the best example of true friendship. So he defines true friendship later in that definition and says true friendship is a noble and virtuous attachment springing from a pure source, which is a respect for worth or amiable qualities. So I respect who Jeff is and what he is worth to me, to God, to so many people that know him, and his beautiful, the precious qualities that are in him. He's always been someone I could turn to and talk to and trust in as a friend. We'll get into that just a little bit this week, our friendship and what God was doing with that. But it's a noble thing. It's a spiritual thing.
Right. And one of the definitions of intimacy is into me see.
Oh yes.
So I know for me,
that's good.
It was one of the biggest challenges that I had in our relationship was opening up and sharing my deep thoughts and deep feelings with Teresa, because it was very intimate, or I felt exposed. Just a man usually, I mean, this is in general, a husband is usually emotionally modest.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like a wife is usually physically modest, but she's open verbally.
Mm-hmm.
A husband is usually open physically and closed verbally.
Right.
So a husband you need to share more than you feel like it.
Yes.
Because like a wife needs to be more open physically than she feels like it.
Right. We definitely learned that from Jimmy Evans over the years. Some of his really sound foundational teaching. Absolutely.
That's why it is so important. If you remember in your dating relationship, and if you're watching this and you are in a dating relationship, is to develop that emotional and spiritual intimacy way before the physical intimacy. The problem is when you're physically intimate, premature, without a covenant, without being in the covenant of marriage.
Right.
It just hinders the development of the relationship. Exactly.
Yeah, you'll think something's there that's not really there, because romance just seems to cloud your perception so much. You may not really have a true foundation of friendship and companionship and knowing one another, but with the romance there, you think you know that person. And I know in so many dating relationships I had, which were disasters, I thought I knew that person, but all I really knew was a facade. And, getting to know the person later, it's just like, oh, what did I even see in this person? I don't even like them. Why would I date this person? And that's because the dating game can be so disastrous. You don't know each other for who you are in different situations as friends and around each other's friends. You have to get to know a person honestly and clearly, and not in the romantic setting first. That's so important.
So that just reminds me that we've lost the idea of courtship.
Yes.
You've seen the old TV shows where the young man comes up to the father very nervous and says, "Mr. Anderson, I'd like to court your daughter," and it was like a very formal request.
Right.
And courtship is a formal. Is you're entering into a. It's not a marriage, but you're entering into an agreement to explore the possibility of a marriage.
That's good.
And you fall in love by talking with each other. You fell in love with your spouse because you talked together.
That's
and
right.
You talked for hours on the phone, even before there were cell phones. But you would talk even with the landlines. You would talk for hours to your spouse, your future spouse. And that's how you fell in love, by talking.
That's right.
And sharing, and that's how you remain in love. And love is. We learned that from Gary Smalley that love is a decision.
Oh yes.
I decided a long time ago that I would love Teresa with all my heart, and there's nothing she can do to ever kill that love. There's nothing she can do that would ever lessen my commitment to love her.
Right.
For the rest of my life, I will love Teresa, because that was a decision we made, and we entered into a covenant with each other to do that, to honor each other, to serve each other, to put the other one first, to bless each other.
That's right.
And that's part of our covenant. Yeah. Like I said before, if she doesn't win, we both lose.
Right.
And the same way with me. If I don't win, we both lose. So we are in here. We're in here as partners.
Right.
To win, and just as Eve was taken out of the side of Adam and brought to him to be a helpmeet.
Right.
And so that we work together. So. Definition of marriage: a man and a woman, naked in the garden, working together, walking with God.
Yes, yes. Absolutely. Yes, and I like how you said that, the devotion that you're expressing and wanting to support me and care for me and what's important to me, that pure source that he was talking about in Webster's dictionary is the agape love of God. People kind of set that off like, oh, that's just for certain situations. Well, no, agape love is supposed to be what motivates us to do anything as a believer. The pure love of God, the same kind of sacrificial love that caused him to send his son. That's why John 3:16 is such a key verse in every believer's life. A lot of people get born again from that verse because God showed us tangibly what love looks like. You sacrifice, you give, you do far beyond even what's required if you really love someone, and that's how he loves us. So of course, we're supposed to be expressing that kind of love in marriage, in the friendship, in the romance, in every aspect of our marriage.
That's right. And we read last week in Proverbs 18 where there's a friend who sticks closer than a brother, and that friend is your spouse.
Yes.
And right.
Exactly.
And so often we overuse the word love. We'll say we love pizza, we love a certain TV show. We'll say all kinds of things about love, but that deep love, that agape love, the God kind of love, it's really, it takes time to develop that love, and with your future spouse.
Right. Yeah, when you think you're bringing two different lives together, two completely different worlds together, you are going to have different ways of seeing things, different ways of looking at things. But if you're friends, you can accept, okay, this other person sees it differently than me, but that's okay. It doesn't negate that I have a viewpoint or that I have a way of looking at things. You can work together with that.
Right. One of the definitions of courtship is wooing. The act of soliciting favor, the act of wooing in love, something words that we don't use anymore. Wooing, where we in that courtship phase, you're spending time together to see if you're compatible. Not that you're identical, but you're compatible. Because you need to know what are each other's goals. If you need to know that before you ever enter a marriage. One may say, I can't wait to get out of this town. I'm going to just move and travel and go where the hot job spots. The other one may say, I'm never leaving this town.
Right.
I'm never leaving mom and dad. So you got to be compatible.
That happens.
You got to be compatible and have similar goals. Because if a husband doesn't know where he's going, if the husband doesn't have a vision for his future, how can his wife follow him if he doesn't know? Right.
Right.
So Romans 12:9 in the New Living Translation, don't just pretend to love each other.
Right.
Really love them. Hate what is wrong. Hold tightly to what is good. I
like that. Yeah. And to me, what's wrong in your friendship is allowing anything to come between you, especially somebody else's opinion or circumstance, or like not having the same way of doing things. Don't let those things drive you apart. Just dislike allowing anything to come between you, and hold tightly to what is good. See the good in your friend. See the good in your marriage partner. So important. And the next verse 10 says, love each other with genuine affection. That's so good. And take delight in honoring each other. And that honor came up also in Proverbs in one of the versions of the Proverbs 17:17, that we honor one another when we're friends, when we're companions, when we're in a covenant relationship. We show each other honor.
Wow, that is so profound. Honor is something that we really don't hear a lot in marriage in modern times. It's in some of the older traditional vows for the wife to honor and obey, but we are to honor each other.
That's right.
I need to honor Teresa's value and the treasure that's in her heart and the things that God has placed in her. Because as her husband, I'm the spiritual head of the family, but I'm going to have to give account for how I honored Teresa during our marriage. And I will have to give that account to the Lord. Did I honor her? Did I take the talents and help her blossom and express those talents and be able to freely exercise her talents and reach and do the things that she was called to do?
That's right. And I have to honor you, recognizing your headship in the marriage. You don't lord that over me, but biblically you are the head in our family, and I have to honor that. You know, if you make a decision, I'm not going to argue about it. I'm going to go with what you decided, but a lot of times we decide things together. There's not, just one person making all the decisions. That's not healthy. But I honor you and the gifts that God has put in you and your leadership ability. And the more that I've encouraged you and built you up and just shown respect to you, you've been able to grow as a leader. You've been able to grow as a man of God. So it works both ways.
Yes, it does. And we would like you to go to our Inspiring Marriages podcast and leave a review on our podcast. Tell us what you think. You can even tell us things that you want us to improve upon or have suggestions for show topics. I think eventually in the future we will have guests, but that's still in the works.
Right.
So this week in Marriage Builders and Friendship Builders, what we want to talk about is last week we talked about 30 minutes of an uninterrupted time. This week, this marriage builder, and see what you think about this, Teresa. When you're out on a date or when you're alone and you're talking, put the phone down.
Yes.
Now you might need to have it on vibrate or something if you have kids are home by themselves or with a babysitter. But you need to put the phones down. So what have we seen so often when we've been out, Teresa?
Oh, my goodness. Anytime we've been to a restaurant, even out and about, but usually in restaurants, both people who are having dinner together, or you could see they're on a date, each of them is looking at his or her phone and not even talking. Maybe they talk about what they're going to order, but otherwise they're looking down at their phones, not really communicating, not enjoying the time together.
There is no way you have plumbed the depths of your relationship that you have nothing to talk about.
Right.
That's impossible. Even people, I think we see it more maybe in older couples, they may not be looking at their phones, but they're just eating their food. And,
right.
And we see people come in after we come in, be seated after we've been seated, and they're up and gone, and we're still talking and we're still eating our food because we're not trying to rush. The goal is not to finish the meal.
Right.
That is not the goal, to finish the meal and get up and get out. That is not the goal of your time. Anytime you're together, put the phone down. Right. And so we also like you to connect with us on social media. We have a Facebook page, Inspiring Marriages. Just look for that in Facebook.
Instagram,
Inspiring Marriages on Instagram. We even have a YouTube channel called
Inspiring Marriages.
Yeah. And you'll be able to find all of these podcasts on that channel. You'll eventually find some live streams on that channel. If we're out and about and we just be able to do
that'll be fun.
A spontaneous live stream that week, that would be something that we can do. And something else we want to talk about, Teresa, is not only are we have friendship builders, but we have other things that we've written down. One is things that the husband can do to be romantic towards his wife. And I got 2 this week.
Oh, you had it ready.
I got 2 this week because one's really easy and one's really hard. So I think I'll do the easy one first. And guys, don't hate on me for the hard one. So the easy one, something you can do for your wife so that she knows that you've been thinking about her and you care about her. Not that she's not capable of doing this. Of course she's capable of doing this. But keep her car filled with gas.
Yay.
Of course she can pump her own gas. She's fully capable of doing that. But how do you feel about me doing that, Teresa?
Wow, I just feel like if I need to get out in the car, it's already ready for me. I don't have to think about, oh no, I've got to go get gas before I can do this or that. And usually I'm transporting people around in our family, so I need my car to be ready to go.
Yeah, so it's just an act of love, act of kindness. And we haven't talked about this, but there's the 5 love languages, and you can go overboard on the 5 love languages. But one of Teresa's things that she likes is acts of service. That really speaks to her heart.
Oh, yes.
When I do an act of service for her, it really just, it speaks love. She sees love or hears love or feels love when I do that.
Yes, that's true.
So,
and now what's the hard one? I can't wait to hear this.
This is going to be hard, guys. Okay. So, I'll just give an example from our marriage. There's one of Teresa's favorite video series or movie themes is Jane Austen.
Oh, yes.
She loves
Jane Austen.
We have them on. We used to have them on VHS. Then we had them on DVD. Now we have them on Blu-ray. And if they come out with 4K, we'll have them on 4K.
Right.
We have all
We've
her
watched
favorite
many different versions of the same ones, too.
And she has her different favorite versions of each one. So there's Emma. There's been at least 1, 2, 3, 4 versions of Emma, but she has her favorite one. Sense and Sensibility.
Oh yeah.
The first one was in the theaters that we first time we saw it with
Emma Thompson.
And but her favorite one is a recent one on BBC. She just loves that version of it. Of course,
yes.
There's also Pride and Prejudice, and her favorite one is the 1995 one with Jennifer
Colin Firth.
And Colin Firth. That's her favorite. And every birthday month or around her time of her birthday, we will watch them all. We will
kind of binge on Jane Austen.
We will watch them all.
At least watch a whole series of one of the stories. Yeah.
And you have kissing games every time someone's in
oh yes.
And Pride and Prejudice says, "Mr. Darcy," that's the
time to kiss.
But the challenge to you men is it may not be Jane Austen. It may be a Hallmark movie, or it may be a Great American Family, or something. Is you to become a fan of those movies, so that you can talk about them, and all the time. We will make a reference. We will quote one of those movies.
Oh yes,
one of those movies all the time. And when I take interest in that, how does it affect you?
Oh, I guess it just kind of validates it for me that this is something worth spending time on. This is something that kind of enhances not just friendship but romance in our marriage. To watch something romantic and enjoy it together. And sometimes it's, time to get a foot rub, during one of the episodes. I like that.
Right. And it can't be superficial, guys, husbands. It can't be superficial. I'm not just doing that to get an end result. I'm actually, and ordinarily, if I'm by myself, it's not some movie I would push in and watch or stream. It's not something I would care about. But since it's important to Teresa and she is blessed by those type of movies, it's important to me to take interest in them and to genuinely share about them. And we'll talk about the different lines in the movie, and we'll talk about different things. It's another area of communication. But that is a way for a husband to be romantic to his spouse, his wife, is take a genuine interest.
Right.
And it's something like that that it really doesn't mean that much to me, but I made it mean something to me, and that by making that mean something to me and showing interest in it, not at a superficial level, for real. And it may be something completely different. Maybe a certain TV show, or it may be even a shoot 'em up. I don't know.
I'm going shopping. Might be going shopping.
That your wife enjoys watching, taking interest in. I know, guys. I know those Hallmark movies are tough. They are tough to watch, but if it's something that she's enjoying, Crown for Christmas or something else that she really enjoys, take an interest in that, and that is an act of service. That is an act of romance that you can have for your wife. So
exactly.
Go to our social media accounts, again, Facebook.
Sign up for the Friendship Builders at our website.
Well, yeah, you have to go again. If you go to our website, inspiringmarriages.net, you can sign up for and receive a PDF of our current list of friendship builders that we have for anyone who signs up. You get a PDF. You get just an email with that in it, and that you can put it on your phone, or you can put it on your refrigerator, and you can this is a good idea. I don't care about that. You don't have to do it, but something you need to have friendship builders with your spouse. Something that builds up your friendship.
Absolutely.
So until next Friday, we will hope to hear from you on all the social medias avenues, and just remember.
Husband and wife are friends for life.